Okay. Slytherin!
As the brightest witch of her age, Hermione Granger is easily one of the most iconic characters in the wizarding world. She offers Harry crucial support in his quest to defeat Voldemort. But what if these friends never met through Gryffindor? Today on Collider, we'll be putting together our own plot theory about what might have happened if Hermione had actually been sorted into Slytherin. On the surface, Hermione doesn't feel like a good fit for Hogwarts' most despised house. If the character's bravery hadn't been enough to get her into Gryffindor, Hermione's intelligence and inventiveness would have made Ravenclaw the natural runner-up. For example, when she uncovers the truth about the basilisk and brews polyjuice potion in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Hermione demonstrates the same love of learning as Rowena Ravenclaw.
The mandrake's cry is fatal to anyone who hears it.
But that still doesn't mean Hogwarts star student lacks the qualities of a true Slytherin. Just as a Gryffindor can value classwork as much as a Ravenclaw, many Slytherins exhibit qualities not typically associated with their house. In fact, despite Slytherin's association with Death Eaters and Lord Voldemort, there have been several Slytherins who actually did some good for the wizarding world. One notable wizard in this group is Phineas Black, the ancestor of Gary Oldman's Sirius Black, who actually went against his pureblood family to support the rights of Muggles. As a result, Slytherin as a whole isn't just defined by its worst students, but by the house's basic values, cunning and ambition. Hermione displays both qualities throughout the Harry Potter movies. In the Deathly Hallows Part 1, Hermione demonstrates her skill at strategy when she erases her parents' memories in order to protect them from Death Eaters, as well as when she intentionally disfigures the face of Daniel Radcliffe's Harry Potter in order to prevent him from being recognized by Voldemort's Snatchers. In Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Hermione shows off her ambitious side by spearheading the formation of Dumbledore's army, inspiring Harry to lead a student rebellion against the unjust practices of the delightfully unbearable Dolores Umbridge. Moreover, in the books, Hermione's social aspirations are taken even further, as the Goblet of Fire book sees her create a society for the promotion of elfish welfare. And Harry Potter and the Cursed Child confirms that Hermione eventually becomes the Minister for Magic. These accomplishments prove Hermione has both the vision and decisiveness to make a great Slytherin, but the character's personality wouldn't be the only factor influencing her experience as a Slytherin at Hogwarts. While Hermione would be able to outwit and outmaneuver even her most well-connected classmates, the character's status as a Muggle-born witch would undoubtedly create friction with Slytherin's outspoken purebloods. After all, Slytherin's founder, Salazar Slytherin, was intensely prejudiced against Muggle-born wizards, and he even created the Chamber of Secrets with the express purpose of eliminating students born to Muggle families. As such, Hermione's placement in Slytherin would be a rarity, and her early days would be lonely. Without her Gryffindor friends to shield her, Hermione would be constantly subjected to bullies like Tom Felton's Draco Malfoy, and the character would need to sink even deeper into her studies to find peace. Trapped in a nest of literal snakes, Hermione would be especially vulnerable during the Death Eater's second bid for power, and Harry would be at a severe disadvantage in his own quest to take down the Dark Lord. Without the Golden Trio's smartest member, Harry and Rupert Grint's Ron Weasley would have to turn to another Gryffindor to round out their group, such as Matthew Lewis's Neville Longbottom or Bonnie Wright's Ginny, while Hermione would navigate constant danger throughout the first few movies. Yet, if Hermione could survive the basilisk's petrification, as she does in the second film, she would still have a major role to play in Harry's story. Separated by their houses, Harry and Ron would only know Hermione by her academic achievements, making for an even more interesting dynamic between the three during their formative years. Since Hermione's sorting would have done nothing to dull her love for learning, Dumbledore would still have given her the Time Turner in Prisoner of Azkaban, which would enable her to earn Harry's trust by helping him save Sirius in the third film. In turn, Sirius could honor his ancestor by watching over Hermione similarly to how he cared for Harry, sympathizing with her circumstances as someone who has lived with plenty of unbearable Slytherins himself. A different sorting for Hermione would also affect the Golden Trio's personal relationships. As a Slytherin, Hermione's distance from Gryffindor wouldn't give her the chance to know Ron as intimately, making their future marriage unlikely. Instead, Hermione would likely be drawn to the far more noticeable Harry, completely shifting most elements of the series. In particular, this shift would be most entertaining to observe at the Goblet of Fire's Yule Ball, which remains one of the movie's most enjoyable rites of passage. On the other hand, it's also possible that Hermione's placement in Slytherin could change Draco's heart far earlier in the series, taking advantage of Watson and Felton's real-life friendship to create a memorable romantic pairing. Yet, as someone still isolated because of her Muggle parentage, Hermione would most likely come to resemble a younger version of Alan Rickman's iconic Professor Snape. As a fellow lonely genius tormented by her classmates, Hermione would be subjected to the same bullying revealed during Harry's brief glimpse into the Potion Master's memories in Order of the Phoenix, building on Hermione's deep dislike for Death Eaters in the process. Since Hermione's Muggle heritage would prevent the Death Eaters from recruiting her after Voldemort's return, Hermione would also be forced to adopt the role of double agent, using her access to the Slytherin Common Room to report on Death Eater activities and help Harry much as she does in the original series. Unfortunately, this risky position would also endanger Hermione in the series' epic finale.
Very dangerous.
Had she been a Slytherin, Hermione would be in the most danger after the fall of the Ministry of Magic in the Deathly Hallows Part 1. With Snape assuming the role of headmaster over a Death Eater-controlled Hogwarts, Muggle-born witches of all kinds would be at risk, but Hermione's status as the only Muggle-born Slytherin would make her a high-priority target. Since Snape's first priority is always to protect Harry, he wouldn't intervene directly on Hermione's behalf. In the worst-case scenario, Hermione would then be captured and experience worse torture than she already received at the hands of Helena Bonham Carter's Bellatrix Lestrange at Malfoy Manor. Recognizing Hermione's value to the cause, either Snape or the Order of the Phoenix would need to subsequently rescue her, in which case Hermione would be able to fight in the final battle of Hogwarts. However, Hermione's role in this battle as a Slytherin would be very different from her role in the conflict as a Gryffindor. Since many Slytherins supported Voldemort in his final bid to seize control of the school, Hermione would be battling her childhood bullies and classmates more than she would be helping Harry, using her brain for battle strategy instead of helping to find and destroy Horcruxes. This more personal focus would bring Harry Potter's social issues to the forefront of the franchise, giving Hermione an opportunity to prove that blood status isn't everything in a satisfying moment for the character. Hermione would also experience a much more emotional reaction to Snape's death, who would have been the head of her house for all 8 movies and a mentor figure to her, underscoring the split loyalties Hermione would experience in this hypothetical retelling. Alternatively, it's also possible Hermione could have embraced her Slytherin roots earlier in the series. As the movies make clear, the Sorting Hat takes a character's preference into consideration when making house assignments, so Hermione could have chosen Slytherin in order to fuel her ambitions. This version of events would see Hermione taking over the house, possibly even seeking out forbidden knowledge in order to defeat Voldemort and become a new Dark Lord herself. As someone tormented endlessly for their identity, it would make sense that Hermione's loneliness and intelligence would combine to give her an insatiable desire for revenge, proving that even one of Hogwarts' greatest heroes could be just one small change away from becoming a villain. How do you think Hermione would fare as a Slytherin? Are there any other Harry Potter characters whose houses you would change? Let us know your theories in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on Collider.